Hey guys, how are we doing? It's Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another XRP Ripple video. We're just going to be discussing today a few little things. We're going to start with that Elon Musk and his fight against the SEC and how that may or may not tie in with Ripple and XRP. Some speculation there. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with Ripple and XRP specifically. We're going to sum up what we need to see next in the lawsuit, and then we're going to just finish on a few different myths for XRP and a few things that came out of the Thinking Crypto interview with David Schwartz. But let's get straight into it. We've got a clip from Elon Musk talking on a recent TED Talk. I don't know if this is actually recent or not, but he did an interview with TED last week. I don't know if it's a clip from this or not because I haven't watched the whole thing. I've just seen this clip specifically. But let's see what he says. But guys, if you don't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop a comment. Let's just get into it, guys. Peace up. Let's go.
So, I should say actually, even originally with Tesla back in the day, funding was actually secured. I want to be clear about that. In fact, this may be a good opportunity to clarify that. Funding was indeed secured, and I should say, why do I not have respect for the SEC in that situation? And I don't mean to blame everyone at the SEC, but certainly the San Francisco office. It's because the SEC knew that funding was secured, but they pursued an active public investigation nonetheless. At the time, Tesla was in a precarious financial situation, and I was told by the banks that if I did not agree to settle with the SEC, that the banks would cease providing working capital and Tesla would go bankrupt immediately. So that's like having a gun to your child's head. So I was forced to concede to the SEC unlawfully, those bastards. And now it makes it look like I lied when I did not in fact lie. I was forced to admit that I lied to save Tesla's life, and that's the only reason.
Given what's actually happened.
Wow, so that's a big statement there from Elon Musk, even saying that they're bastards, the SEC. So it's a huge statement, to be honest. What you got to think is, he's one of the most powerful people in the world. I honestly don't know if he has more power or not than the SEC as a governmental jurisdiction, being one of the most powerful people in the world. And now he has a real issue with the SEC. We've seen him tweet a few weeks ago saying that he didn't like the SEC, that he was building a case against them. And then now he's obviously in the spotlight trying to buy out Twitter. But I definitely think there's a phone call to be made, if it's not been made already, between him and Brad Garlinghouse, how they can team up and drop some more dirt on the SEC. Now we're seeing all these conflict of interest documents coming out from Empower Oversight. We should be getting access to these William Hinman emails, which we're going to talk about any second now. These all push towards more evidence for Elon Musk. If he's trying to gather evidence to take against the SEC, I think there's something to be done there with Ripple, XRP and Elon Musk, especially all being American-based companies. I'm sure a lot of them will have spent time together. Elon Musk, obviously a co-founder of PayPal. I'm sure he spent a lot of time in Silicon Valley. Ripple's main headquarters in San Francisco near Silicon Valley. So I'm sure there's got to have been some sort of conversation either in the works or already happened. So let's see. Oh, there's one actually main story that I've not even brought up here. I've just remembered. So let me just quickly find that now. We're going to look at this. Gary Gensler. Actually, we're going to get Bearable Bulls YouTube open. Oh, can we find it here? Let's see. Let's just see if we can find this. Yes, this is the exact one I wanted to come up, so that's brilliant. And we're going to talk about this first before we go on to anything else. So what's happened recently is Michael Barr, who is an ex-board member at Ripple, he used to be a part of the Treasury, also in the US, and then he was a board member at Ripple, and now he's been selected by Joe Biden. Excuse me, just sneezed. Now he's been selected by Joe Biden to be the vice chair for supervision at the Federal Reserve. I'm just going to listen to this quick clip here. This was from 2020. there was a like a simulation of digital currency / cyber attacks and what America would do if these things happened. And this is the simulation. It was all recorded. Gary Gensler was there, but when he was an MIT professor, he was nothing to do with the SEC at the time. They just talked about like potential options and stuff for cyber warfare and digital currency. And let's see what he says. And it's very interesting, the exact timings that he talks about and the terminology that he talks about. So let's just quickly play this. This is from Mason Rothschild on Twitter.
We have been leapfrogged by others, by digital currency, by digital Chinese currency. Why? Because frankly, our central bank has been slow, and there's an appointment coming in January of 22. The president's got to decide whether to change over who's leading the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve runs our payment system. Right. And I think we need to move that Federal Reserve into the modern era. We have been leapfrogged by others.
So that is so important. He's talking about January of 2022. Could be a revamp of the Fed. This is, remember, from 2020. That we've been leapfrogged by other jurisdictions and we may need to shake up the Fed. So basically that has happened. America have been leapfrogged by China. The digital yuan is out, we know this. And now we've got Michael Barr, ex-Ripple board member, vice chair, nominated for the Fed as Joe Biden's first pick. Is this coincidence, guys? We know that the Fed now vice chair is also a Ripple board member. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But I don't know, guys. There's a lot of coincidences if there's nothing else going on here. I personally, as an XRP holder, speculate that there will be something to do with XRP and Ripple in these deals to be done with the governments, etc. But I'm just pointing out to you what I see. But yeah, massive appointment of Michael Barr to the vice chair of the Fed. We'll see if it 100% gets passed through Congress. But we know that Jerome Powell has been head of the Fed without being passed through Congress, and he's been there for a whole term already. So let's get into this next part. Crypto Eri tweeted out 9 hours ago, Modular has my attention. They've partnered with Ripple, creating what they call modular Ripple technology. Trust Payments was the first to use the team offering. However, my short today will spotlight Modular because there's a lot going on, including Africa. So if you don't already follow Crypto Eri on YouTube, she's a great researcher, especially in the APAC region. She's based in Japan, keeps us up to date with what's going on in Asia, and obviously there's something happening between Modular and Ripple. We'll wait and see what she says on that. So now, the Ripple lawsuit, I'll just bring you up to date with what's happened. We've had the DPP ruling from the judge. The judge granted that, the judge said that on the 11th of April, so this is about a week ago now, she said that Ripple can have access to the Hinman emails. If you guys didn't know about that, I'm sure I've talked about that a few times before. And then we had a reply from the SEC here saying that they weren't going to extend time anymore. Let me see if I can find that. Saying they weren't going to extend time anymore. They did not wish to seek any additional discovery. But I don't know if this was in regards to the Ripple case in general or the two defendants. And then after that, we then had the SEC request an extension of time. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. This extension of time is because they want to object the recent ruling from Judge Netburn. I don't know how long they get or if it's even been approved or whether it will be approved. They're basically saying, can we have some extra time because we want to object? And that's basically what we're waiting for an answer now. The SEC is raising new privilege assertions. The SEC says the defendants are prepared to proceed to summary judgment without a ruling on the Hinman emails and documents. This is one way the SEC could really get out of showing these emails. If we go to summary judgment and the SEC lose on summary judgment, like, bear in mind that the judge has seen these emails in camera, which means she's seen them and Ripple haven't. The SEC could lose the case on summary judgment, never have to show the emails. The judge will know what was in the emails, but we'll never know. So that is a way the SEC could worm their way out of showing these emails. But let's see, Ripple are basically saying, look, let's get it to some kind of judgment because we think we can win whatever the situation. So let's see. And then this is from Stuart Alderati, who is the lead attorney for Ripple, general counsel for Ripple. Imagine if in a civil enforcement case, we also abided by the Brady rule, which in criminal cases requires prosecutors to share all information in their possession that could help or even exonerate the defendants. Basically saying that the SEC are just doing everything they can to not share their information. At the very least, the SEC should heed the admonition, I don't know how you say that, admonition of its own chair that firms should not use lengthy privilege reviews to delay responding to routine document requests. So they literally have in their like rulings that you should be fast on turning over documents, and then they're themselves being delaying. So going against their own like rules that are on their own website apparently. But even Gary Gensler's apparently said, supposedly, that's what this hyperlinks to. So it's just a madness, guys. We all know that. We can all see it now. So yeah. And finally, I just wanted to leave us with this because, by the way, if you've not watched this interview, it's blooming brilliant. David Schwartz, CTO at Ripple, absolute genius. Tony Edward, Thinking Crypto, brilliant YouTube channel. Gets great guests on, they do great interviews. They talk about loads of things. They talk about how ODL is going to expand this year. They talk about, what else do they talk about? We're going to talk now about XRP price. Can it differ on private ledgers to public ledgers? What else? I've clipped it a few times. They talk about the difference between XRP's tech and Bitcoin Lightning Network. And NFTs, XLS20. Just off the top of my head, there are a few things they talk about. Let's get into this. Can XRP price differ on private ledgers to public ledgers?
Question that came up, and I don't know if this makes sense, but the question is, will the value of XRP be the same in the private ledgers as it is on the public?
Yes. The value proposition of XRP is that it has these liquidity pools. If it doesn't make sense to isolate something, like there's no place where gold is worth twice as much as it is now, because if there was, people would just bring gold there and they would buy gold somewhere else and they would sell it there. Unless the only way that you can have the value be very different in two places is if there's a lot of friction. And if there's friction, someone will make a business of removing that friction. So I don't see any realistic scenario where XRP has significantly different value unless something's wrong. Like a good example of a case, there was a time where the value of XRP, they called it the kimchi premium, right? Where the value of XRP in some Asian countries was very high, but that was because there were capital controls, right? That was because things were bad. I think that's a sign that something is not going well. The value proposition of XRP is that you can take it to all of the places, right? If I sell you some gold and you say, hey, this gold can only be used in jewelry, you're like, well, that kind of sucks. I don't want that gold, right? The value proposition of gold is that you have access to the entire value proposition of gold. And so I don't see any scenario in which where it makes sense to snip pieces off, again, unless something is wrong.
So there we go, guys. That solves that myth. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments. It does really show that like they are using private ledgers, in my opinion, because that kind of like goes without saying. So in my opinion, he's saying, yeah, no, the price isn't changing, but we are using it like over there. He's not actually said that, but their setup, he's saying that it can't change the price. So maybe these glitches we've been seeing recently are testing on the XRP ledger. We don't know. I'd love to know what you guys think about that. Let me know in the comments section. If you've got anything you want me to cover specifically, or you see something that I've not seen, I'd love you guys to help me out with that. I was bringing you as much information as I can. This is your XRP roundup for the day, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been me, Crypto Insight UK here. Peace up, A-Town down, as Usher would say, and I'll catch you on the next one.